If you've just joined us, Brad Sinclair here on standby, and he's ready for the opening bounce.
And I wouldn't be wrong in saying it's a windswept officer recreation reserve, that's for sure. And we should see a fair few stoppages as the umpire's just having a chat to one of the players, and he goes over to see. He's given him something. Surely he didn't have a watch on. Dylan?
Oh, I think I
Earring. The old earring.
Definitely passed you a little prematurely, but I'll go again. Brad Sinclair on the call today.
It was the ruckman, in fact, for the Rovers, and umpire holds the ball aloft as the rain comes in. Up they go. Wisbecki is in there in his 100th game, goes to ground, and in there fighting hard is Snooks. He feeds it out. Rovers try to take that out through McDonald, and the umpire's pulled a free kick. It'll go in the way of Marden. He's had his ball turned over, and it's ended up in the hands of Godden, who goes forward for the Kangaroos. Gets knocked out forward. And this will happen a lot today. We'll just have stacks on the mill, and the umpire will say, you're not going to go anywhere, and we'll give that a restart.
So ball up at half forward. Here's Wisbecki again, but that time his opponent got the better of him. So it spills out the back and now edging closer to the boundary line. And it looks like it will finally reach the destination. So already 40 seconds in, not a lot of progress. The inside 50. And that is about it as we see Wisbecki again up against Jack McDonald in the ruck. They'll duel it out. You'd estimate for the whole game. That time was a shallow throw in, and it falls to the Rovers this time, and they can leave through the midfield. Long kick up the wing. Dropped mark. That time by Shipway, I believe, in a dispute. We'll have another ball up. Centre wing, far side from the broadcast. Slow start for sure. See who can take advantage of this wet weather. And again, it slips out of the grasp of a few players. The Rovers can collect again. He's just latched onto. Ball forward now for Officer. They had to improvise because they couldn't pick it up, and it was the man with the impressive mullet, Gallagher. But now, turning onto the right of the forward line is one of the Kangaroos, and we'll have play resume from fullback.
There's my pet hate.
Yep.
We've got a number 14 running around in officer that isn't listed playing today, so we might try to get on top of that. But they did have a list of only 18 players today, so there will be a few extra, no doubt, than that as the ball goes out over the line. And Zach Godden just flicks that back to the boundary umpire, and we'll have a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the officer side, which we envisage the ball will spend most of the day going down there. The umpire said, we might get you to throw that in again.
Yeah, just held up in the wind that time.
Which will happen a lot today as it's tapped out over the back there by McDonald. Again, just a number of players, a little bit of soccer and flicking it out, and it ends up again, this time in the hands of Marini. He's wrapped up, flicked out to the outside. Hurried kick inside 50 and finds our man. There he is, Zach Gallagher, and he'll get the first shot at goal. And we did say in the warm-up, Dylan, we thought he was a forward, the way he looked with the gloves, the mullet, and he certainly is, and he's going to get the first shot on goal.
As we just get an updated sheet here. So
How
Gallagher,
good's that?
he will have maybe the first goal of the day. Right umpire over the goal umpire's head, and it is a major.
Wow.
So not only does he have the mullet, he has the boot as well. It's 1-1 to officer. And Frankston are yet to score.
So the number 14 that we didn't have was Lachlan Watson running around for the officer side. And there's a few more in there too. Jackson Honey has come into the side as Jordan Wisbecki, obviously a relation to Riley in the number 20 Guernsey, and Bryce Hobson in the 33 for the officer side. So we'll work our way around that new team sheet as the ball's back in the middle. Again, McDonald I think won that. Come out the back. Hurry kick is smothered. Ends up in the hands of the boy in Anderson. He can't get clean position. It's a bit of a cake of soap out there at the minute, so not having a lot of luck. Any of the players as coming through hard then was Knapp. Hurry kick forward for the Rovers. Just up towards their 50 for their first foray towards their 50. Can't take the ball cleanly with Swavola. Fed out the back, ends up in the hands of Patrick Martin. He's all wrapped up, and we'll have another stoppage in between wing and half forward for the Frankston Rovers.
Yep, and this is their opportunity. Almost 5 minutes in, and they haven't really had a good look at it. Need an inside 50 here. What can McDonald muster? It's a nice tap forward. Just fell into the lap of McKeary. Off to the wing now. But there is Where's Bicky in his 100th game onto the chest of Gallagher. And he was able to rope that in. Seeds it off in the path of Canute, who shoots towards goal. And it's through.
Wow.
Another on the board for the Kangaroos. And what a start this is.
Oh, man, Zach Gallagher. Wow, he's setting it alight, isn't he? And what a beautiful kick that was by Tyler Canute. I love, we know, our man on graphics loves a left footer, and I do too, and he is a very good kick, Dylan.
He is, and as you spoke on Gallagher, not only can he kick, he can facilitate too. What a start this is.
They are kicking with the aid of, I would say, a 4 to 5 goal breeze, and that's probably being conservative. So ball's back in the middle. It'll be the big Where's Bicky again in his 100th game, but it's sharked by the Rovers. They'll go forward, but able to back and take that mark is the new player now in AJ Claxton that was taken out, and he's come back in. So again, he's probably woken up all right and thought, yep, I'll put the boots on. So the Hawks, though, through the agency of Hakariah Graham. I knew I'd get that one early as he feeds it back to a teammate again, and that's Jardine. He's all wrapped up. Umpire lets it go, though. Comes out to Marini. Kicks forward towards the arc. Gallagher can't take the mark, and his opponent reaching over the back and able to just turn defence into attack now with a high kick up towards the wing and taking the ball out over the boundary line for the Rovers side is another one that we do not have a number for. Or, in fact, it's our new man, Nathan Boys.
Yeah, plenty of number changes, just confusing us here in the box, but we will adapt. And another throw in. That time tapped down to the advantage of the Rovers. Lodged forward, just didn't oblige the bounce for McKeary. And again, they all climb onto each other just near the wing, and a free kick has been pinned. This time for the Rovers. So not a lot of movement up forward. It's quite stagnant, but he'll kick off to his right. Accommodating bounce. That time for Claxton, and he's off. Down to the wing. A one-on-one. There is that man again, Gallagher. Hand pass for Marini. Marini, the short kick to a one-on-one contest. It was broken up in the air, and they'll all lope after it. And we will have a free kick going the Rovers' way, just at right half-back.
So the Rovers now looking to go forward. Just a low lobbing sort of kick in the end, and able to take the mark was Dibben. Quite a good size of a lad too is Jay Dibben. Yeah. So an awkward looking kick, sits it up high. Just quickly picked up there by Locke. Gets it inside 50 for their first chance at it. Might have been held without it. Was Phyllis, not paid. Flicked out. The Roos now have an opportunity. Comes out to the boy in de Klerk. Goes up towards half-back. Bouncing ball. Looks like this might come back through the agency of Hakariah Graham. I'll get it right by the end of the day. And quick kick forward by Marini for the Roos. Goes out towards Gallagher on the wing. Check side. Up towards the half-forward line and carries out over the boundary line. And is that on the full or out of bounds? It is on the full. So the Rovers will take the resultant free kick in between half-back and wing.
So Jardine will take this free kick as he just hops over the fence. Relaxed approach. At half-back, as you can just see them all forming. The kick was miscued, and now they'll have to fight for it again. But the Kangaroos, look at the torpedo sent to half-forward again. A kind bounce for the forward line, and he enforced his will with a fend. Sold the candy one way, now just tosses it up for the lead of another forward. Spills again, and hits the woodwork. That was Gallagher. So 2-2 plays no score nearly halfway into the first quarter.
Canute again, who let fly with that torp. He's a beautiful kick. And I like the looks of big Jackson Little up forward in the orange boots for Officer as well as the ball comes back into play. Goes up towards the wing. Again, a wrestle. And not going to get away with that. And the umpire says to Jay Dibben, give it to me. No, he's going to pay a free kick. It'll go to the Roos. So they'll go long with a high ball. They've got some marking power up around that area. Pack flies, comes to the front. Just coming through. Nice flick out by Marini. He's been really busy early for the Roos. Slung without the ball as the Officer player. Or, in fact, he's paid incorrect disposal. So it'll go to McDonald, the big ruckman. Or in fact, now is it going to go back the other way? I don't know what they...
No, it will be.
It will be McDonald. So McDonald goes up the line, high ball, out over the back. There for the Roos is Hicken. But again, the Rovers come up forward looking for McKeary. But he's beaten to it really well there with a high ball inside 50 for the Roos. The Hawks or the Rovers come out and meet that. Umpire again has blown the whistle. And it'll be a free kick and it'll go to the Hawks. They're still inside their defensive 50 and they'll go up the line again.
And they do. This kick to no one really in particular. Marini just missed the ball. And subsequently we'll have a throw in. Just forward of the wing. Closer to the Kangaroos forward line. And we'll see this contest a few times. That's a nice ball through the centre of the ground. A one-on-one again, but it's well defended by Marini. But he just lost it and was dispossessed. So now it's McKenzie.
Great pickup.
Snaffled off him. A shot towards goal. How will it bounce? Certainly wasn't kind. But the Rovers register a score. Their first of the day, 2-2 to 1 behind.
Some big boys out there. Peloso's a nice size too. As now the Officer side will bring the ball back into play through Kovacs. Goes out towards half-back, looking for his teammate in Snooks. He's beaten to the ball by Shield, who takes it out over the line. We'll have a boundary throw in. Right outside their 50-metre arc, the Rovers. They're 13 points down, with 7.5 minutes to go. And there he is again, Canute, with a long left foot into the middle of the ground. Just a number of players again going to fight for this and try to flick it out. It ends up with the Rovers. Good hands out by Marden. Again, it's the Roos, though, through the agency of Hicken. Gets it out towards half forward. Coming out quickly, but gets a bad bounce there for the Roos is another unnamed player. In fact, it's Watson. That's one of the new names, Lockie Watson. Now, the umpire's pulled a free kick, or he's going to ball this up. No, it's a free kick to the Rovers. So they go short up the line and wide and hasn't carried the distance to where he wanted to. And Claxton chops that off for the Roos. Goes up towards half forward. Umpire again blowing the whistle, and it'll be a free kick again to the Rovers.
So a bit of a stalemate for the last few minutes. There's a wandering ball up the wing. And a great mark taken, just spilt at the last minute. Eli Hakariah-Graham. And as a result, again, we will have a throw in right on the wing. 6 minutes to play. And with this breeze, you might say that the Rovers have held up well. We'll see if they can exit with this again. They don't. And they'll just escort it over the line for another boundary throw in. Same place on the wing. Sunday afternoon football, the gloomy clouds above. They're threatening. They've opened, but it could be worse. And now it's time for the Rovers to repel. They'll interchange through hands. AFLSE off. A great tackle laid by the defence of the Roos. That is a high kick, plenty of altitude. They'll just perch themselves below it. No one took the mark, so it'll just trickle and trickle over the boundary line. Another throw in at half forward for the Kangaroos.
Zach Marini has been really lively for the Roos early in this, or midway through this first quarter. Been a good player at ground level, and as the rain pelts down now and midfielders, and there he is again, Marini. He's so clean below his knees, and he's actually paid a throw. And I reckon that's a bit tough when the weather is like it is. And it'll go to Nathan Boyce. So Boyce for the Rovers. Goes high up the line again. Pack of players. Claxton might have dropped it, but we covered really well. Got on the left foot, went forward, but chopped off by Jardine for the Rovers. So Jardine, another awkward kicking style, goes up looking for his teammate there in Dibben, carries out over the back of him through slippery hands. A very wet ball there now, and the umpire has no other alternative here, surely, to blow the whistle and throw that up again, and he will.
Get on the wing, and this is where most of the play has been, at least for the last 5 or so minutes. Tapped down, another free kick. Which way will it go? Or it won't. They'll redo the throw up. And they do. So again, where's Bicky had the open run. And a second effort that time by Watson. He'll thread it through, but it was chopped off. And now the Rovers, with a snap around the body, can go to half forward. But it's well cleaned up, and it's Janitor Jacoby through the centre. Again, picked up by Garden this time. It was slung around in a tackle. Managed to find a way out. They have to work this well, the defence do. A couple of players warming up in front of us for the next quarter. And just kicked off the carpet. Plenty of distance in it. It might fall for Gallagher. It just eluded him, but he'll go with the second effort. He was restrained. It didn't matter. Another on the board for Zachary Gallagher. And this is some sort of show that he is putting on.
Geez, we picked him up early in the warm-up by fluke. I didn't think he was going to be like this. He's an absolute superstar. Absolutely brilliant. 2 goals, and that was a real opportunist goal. And what I liked about it, he stuck at his task. He got to the front and centre. He wasn't able to collect it cleanly first off, but stuck at the task and got his second chance at it, slung around in the tackle and got the goal.
And even the third goal emanated from his hand pass.
Yeah, so we've only got just on 3 minutes to go there. 19 points up. Up it goes. Again, this time it's Dibben in the ruck for the Rovers, but it's going to be Worsbicky. But the umpire's pulled a free kick out of this, and it'll go to the big man for the Rovers in Zaquane McKeary. There's a Marini wearing 1 for Officer and a McKeary wearing 1 for the Rovers. And this is Zaquane. So he has the ball in the middle of the ground. Goes for a high ball. Pack of players. Oh, just nudging his player under the pack was Kovacs.
Free
but
kick.
The umpire picked it up, and it'll go to Jack McDonald, who's resting from his ruck duties early in the first quarter forward now. Goes with the ball up, looking for Peloso. Carries out over the back. Ends up in the hands of Kovacs. Flicked over the top. Looking for a teammate. Getting on the left foot there was Hicken. And finds Canute again. Loved his game. Was Bicky in his 100th. A couple of socks off the ground and gets that one into the middle. So the pressure's really on around the ball carrier at the moment. Have a lot of players around the ball. Gee, he butters up really well, Riley Wisbicky. But it's going to be the Rovers that are just going to settle. They need to take their time here and not rush. And the players keep playing, but the umpire's blowing his whistle.
Yeah, it'll come back to the Kangaroos, I believe. No.
There's been a lot of the whistle blowing, that's for sure. And
the Rovers.
It'll be the Rovers on their half-back flank. They'll go into the middle of the ground with a high ball. It's all Officer, though, but just competing then with 2 teammates. Hicken gets it down to the ground level. They come onto the outside. Here's Canute. He's going to want his left foot. He gets back onto it. Have a look at that kick. And it looks like he might pay that downfield, and there'll be a free kick taken downfield. And I reckon it might be the big man in Jackson Little.
And it will. And a 4 to 5 goal breeze. You said it.
It's going to come back to Canute.
Yeah. Well, they have 50 seconds to put another on the board, and we'll see how Frankston can respond.
Oh, it's our man. It's our man with the ball.
He definitely held his hand up. Zachary Gallagher. He just had 32 goals in 82 games before this. And now an opportunity for his third. Oh. And he doesn't seem to be celebrating. Has he missed?
He missed that to the right.
He has. So a minor score, a 20-point lead with just under 20 seconds to play in the first. So these final seconds will dissipate. The umpire, or the ball's been lost, and they should head to their huddles. There is the siren. A great 20 minutes of action for the Officer Kangaroos. 3 goals on the board. Gallagher with 2 of them, and again he created another for Canute. So how can the Rovers respond? They'll have the breeze. They'll regather. And we'll see what they can do. We'll take a quick break and be right back with you.
Welcome back to the Officer Recreation Reserve, where we are out here at quarter time in the big AFL Southeast Top Age Under 17 Premier B game, all thanks to our great friends at the Chisholm Sports Academy. It's the Officer Kangaroos currently at 3-3-21, and the Frankston Rovers just the one behind. And we must say that to the end that the Rovers will kick now, it is a very strong breeze. So I don't know if 3-3 is all that great a score. We'll know more at half-time, won't we? Zach Gallagher has 2 for the Officers' side, and Canute has 1. And it's been a scrappy game, but we expect that, Dylan, in this sort of weather.
Yeah, what a pair of goals it was. Almost kicked a third, just missed to the near side. Zachary Gallagher did. So 2 goals, and then again the hand pass into the path of Canute, who launched one from about 30 metres, 40 metres out. So the breeze was certainly favourable. As you said, 3-3, well, it should suffice as the minimum score, but Frankston, that is the benchmark.
When I watched the toss, I am positive Frankston Rovers won that toss and kicked against it. And we spoke about this in the pre-game. I reckon that's really risky because if that wind changes, which I don't think it'll change, but it could drop.
Yep.
And you really want to get that score on the board early. So what I've seen so far of the officers' side, guys like Canute and Wozbicki and these guys through the middle, Knapp, they're very good by feet.
Yes.
So against the wind, if they're getting depth inside, it's really hard for the opposition. Then you just set up behind the ball. So it'll be really interesting now, won't it?
So McDonald in a tangle with Wozbicki again in his 100th game. And McDonald probably got the bigger part of the ball and just tackled in the end. It was guarded and a free kick going that way. Not quite sure what it was for, but he'll take his time, assess every option, and then poke it to half forward. Able to swipe it away are the forward line who just turned defences. The Kangaroos, they can evade now and migrate to the wing, but it'll come back. McDonald to half forward. He'll have to somehow keep this in play, but he doesn't. Does Nicholas Peloso?
So we'll have a boundary throw in around about the 50-metre mark from the Rovers goal, and it'll be Big Dibbon doing ruck duties for the Rovers, but tapped to the outer side by the Roos. Comes forward again, number of players out over that, and seem to be quite whistle happy at the moment. Justin de Klerk's the recipient of the free kick. Goes across ground, dangerous kick in this weather and the wind going the way that you're not kicking. But Marini for officers been pretty good there to keep his body over the ball and hard at it. It's scooped out the back. Not able to take it was AFLSE in this weather. He flicks it out towards a teammate in Boys. Again, greasy ball makes it difficult for him. So it's a game of soccer in the middle at the moment. And McDonald overruns that, and the umpire right on the cricket pitch in the middle of the ground will say, I'll bounce that, but we'll come off the pitch back in the middle of the ground. So we've only gone not even 2 minutes into this second quarter, and it's a 20-point lead to the officer side.
Right back where it all started. As you said in the first term, Brad, it's a cake of soap out there. No one can take it cleanly. And again, the hand pass a little untamed. It should be enough for Canute, who's kicked the one goal, and a scrap still remains ajar. It'll fall loose again. And finally a chance, a check side from Shield to half forward. Again picked up, and we'll see if they can manufacture a mark. Well, he doesn't, but it didn't matter. It's a goal for Frankston. 2.5 minutes in. And if I'm not incorrect, it was Peloso. The first on the board for the visitors.
That's great. They got that early and they needed that. Gets them back to 14 points. And it's just hustle and bustle in this sort of weather. And that's what they did there. Hustled, bustled. Were able to get the ball forward with a smart kick from Noah Suavola and got it inside. And the big man, Nicholas Peloso, kept his feet and ended up running into that open goal. So they're on the scoreboard and the ball's back in the middle. So it's 3-3-21 officer, 1-1-7 Frankston Rovers. All thanks to our great friends out at the Chisholm Sports Academy. As the ball goes up again, and this time it's won by McDonald, being good. Comes to the outside, and the check side's the order of the day. From that time it was Alderson, Riley Alderson. Well, taken high there, I thought, was the Ruse boy in Honey, not paid. And the ball will eventually go out over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. And it's about that 50-metre mark around from the Rovers' goal. The rain looks like it might have settled for the minute, but don't worry about it. She'll be back. We are in Victoria, the greatest football state in the country, as the ball comes back into play, and the previous goal kicker there in Peloso just knocks it forward. It's not going to come out of there, I don't think, and ends up out over the boundary line, and we're back to where we started.
Yeah, not only that, but the state with the most volatile weather.
Yes. you wouldn't be anywhere else, particularly in winter.
Exactly right. Half forward for the Rovers. A nice punch, but only as far as his opponent, who kicks along the wing. There was plenty of brown and yellow jumpers in there, and they'll have another opportunity that's revealing. Scared to commit the body there for a moment was Swavola, and he'll have to be persistent and collect this ball, and they do somehow garner it only momentarily out the back. And look at this work from the defence. He was bold enough to take a bounce. It didn't work in his favour, but he still has it under his control. Finally lost it. They'll pedal forward, and they've shut down. And that's floating in the air. But the Rovers, well, they're just bustling through. And again stopped, and play seems to be circulating around this area. To full forward now, a one-on-one. Peloso. He's already kicked one. Didn't kick a second.
I've liked the looks of AJ Claxton, but that's the definition of optimism, taking a bounce out there, running around through that defensive 50 at the moment. I'd be putting that one in the basket and touching the ball on the ground now for the rest of the day. It's going to be hard to get that back up. As a beautiful tap from the big fella in Dibben for the Rovers, but it's sharked away by Officer. They'll go inside, high leap, but carries over his head in the end was Lockie Watson. Gets up towards centre-half forward, big hit on the Rover player and just moved off the ball beautifully.
Free kick.
Was Phyllis, the free kick.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, he's going to ball it up. So it's right at centre-half forward for the Officer's side. Flicked out the back. Going low and hard first there was Alderson. Comes back, hurry kick forward. Now, what can they do here? Here he is, Zach Gallagher. He overruns that one that time, but he's back onto it, slips through the gloved hands somehow and ends up on the ground, and just a number of players over this, and that's not going to go anywhere. So we'll have another bounce down. It's at right half forward for the Roos.
Yep, their first entry of this quarter, 6.5 minutes in. McDonald, well, he might preclude them from being a forbidding threat up to the wing again. To a nest of players, and they can sort this out, the Rovers, and they do. Long kick forward to centre half forward, and a free kick going their way. So ahead of the ball, he'll need an option presented to him. He just bashes it. It'll have to bounce. It does, but it might go too far. Through for a minor score, but it's kept in play. Snap towards Cole, and he's hit the woodwork. It was a little difficult to see. I thought it went through for a behind. It is a behind.
Wow, that was Cooper AFLSE. He would not have seen daylight between those two goalposts, so it wasn't a bad effort. I'll bring the ball back into play. The Roos, well, he's taken a bounce after one step. Very dangerous and risky situation that. Goes high up towards half back. Comes off the hands in front of the pack, and a quick kick forward towards Peloso. He overruns it. Quick kick forward again. Ends up in the goal square, and a fumble there is Boyce, but will give him a little bit of leadway in this weather. Quick picked up, snap forward by Dibben, but he misses to the right, and it's a behind. So that'll take the Rovers on to 139, and they trail Officer 3-3-21, and we've now gone just on 8 minutes into this second quarter, all thanks to Chisholm Sports Academy.
Yep, they're just chipping away at this margin slowly, and they'll have another chance. Interesting choice in the pocket, and Peloso was unable to keep it in. So we'll have a boundary throw in 10 metres out from the Rovers' goal. 3-3 to 1-3, just 12 points. Not even halfway in the quarter, but it does seem to be a 3-goal breeze, at least at the moment. Who can extract the footy out of there? It's just at their knees, and clambering along the ground was the defence. And they do again, just slapped forward, but it'll come back at the feet of Shield. He regresses only a little bit. Quick snap out the pack. Danger about was enough to influence the dropped mark. Another shot at goal. Unsuccessful. Well, they're all rabid in there, but they can't pick up the footy cleanly. We'll have a ball up, this time positioned straight in front of their goal, about 20 metres out.
Claxton's had one of my one-wood drives off the first, an air swing. As big tap forward, here's a chance, but they get it out towards half back. the Roos, but gee, doing really well and reading that well was Alderson. Then goes with a high ball inside 50. Just waiting on the bounce there and running backwards was McKeary for the Rovers, but beats him out over the boundary line. It'll be sent back in by the boundary umpire, about 30 around from the Rovers' goal. In it comes, tap forward. Ends up out towards the man again, the big fella in Dibben. Gets a check side towards goal, and
not a bad effort.
It wasn't a bad effort at all, and he's got it behind though, so takes him up to 13 points in front, and Officer will bring the ball back into play.
We know how important kicking straight is, and they have not done that. Going at 20% as opposed to the Kangaroos 50 at half back now. Can quickly transform into half forward if they intervene, which they do. And now it's the Rovers. Just straddled the line and has a shot at goal. And it is through. Wow. In the wind, in the rain, a difficult angle. And Swavola has put their second on the board. A 5-point margin now with just over 9 minutes to play in the second quarter.
Well, it was begging to happen. They'd had a couple of shots from the other boundary line and just missed them. And Swavola has ended up getting that one through. And didn't he? I love a good celebration, Dylan. And that was that. So they're under a goal now.
Yep.
So they're back in it. And this is what we say with the wind. You don't know until half-time where this game stands. And right now on the Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard, it's 5-point leaders. The Officer side on their home ground. Up it goes. Big jump there by the 100 gamer was Bicky. Comes out the back. They're away again. Here the Rovers through Boyce. High ball inside towards their goal square and punched out over the back. Just running over the ball. Ends up in the hands again of the man in Peloso. Gets a shot at goal. I reckon he's hit the post there.
Yeah.
And another behind for the Rovers. So they're peppering away all from the boundary line though, Dylan.
Yep, 7 scoring shots to 6 in favour of the Rovers, but they trail it by 4. Crashing through is AFLSE, taken down. Again, they're shut down, centre half forward. They're just barrelling through the pack. The umpire blows the whistle. No, he doesn't, sorry. And then just ricochets off the body of the defence. The Kangaroos constrained in the tackle with the Rovers forwards.
Gee, that was a big, strong tackle by Connor Knapp.
Yep, finally we'll have a ball up. There's a nice throw in the wet here. Off hands again. Shuffles through the pack only slowly. Not a slither of space for any player out there. Tapped back, and now the avenue in. It was McKeary. Bounces towards the pocket, finally picked up and snapping towards goal. A lot of height in it. And it'll be another minor score. So it's a 3-point game now. And they are very ominous, the Frankston Rovers.
As Aquane McKeary is a real goer for the Rovers as they bring the ball back into play, and it's going to come off the boot of Keenan Shield. And beats Zach Godden out over the boundary line for the Roos. And I'll bring it back into play in the right forward pocket for the Rovers. And they've got themselves back in this and 3 points behind. But inaccurate kicking could cost them. Quick snap out of the pack. That time it was Boys again. Ends up just an opportunistic goal. And again, it's the big fella in Peloso, and he gets his second for the day, both in this quarter. And they go on to 3-6-24. They hit the front, the Frankston Rovers. Officer 3-3-21. That is on your Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard.
Wow, the 3-goal lead wasn't enough. Still over 6 minutes. Not a single goal has been kicked to your left of screen, which isn't ideal for us or the viewers because it is closer to where the camera is operating.
Yeah, we must say it is a different angle that we normally do because there is no shelter and you can't have this sort of equipment out in the weather. So we're tucked away in a nice dry spot, but Harrison Garber's still doing a mighty job on the camera.
So they both get a piece of that ball. Motoring onto it was Hatfield. The scrap again, and they did have a chance. It evaporated quickly and now belted forward. That time by Locke. So it'll bounce and it'll skip over the line for another throw in. So obviously the skills will never be clean in the wet, but the goals that have been kicked are clean. The shot at goal from the boundary line by Peloso.
The lights are on. I like that.
The lights are on.
I really like that for these old eyes, where the ball's played predominantly 140 metres from us most of the day. And again, a lot of players around this. It's slipped out and ends up in the hands of Hakariah Graham. He has a quick slug at goal, doesn't make it, but his mate does. And again, that's his third. Peloso, 3-4 the quarter. Ever the opportunist, where Hakariah Graham had a sling at it, ended up in Peloso's hands, and he didn't let him down. 4-6-30. They go to a 9-point lead, the Rovers. Officer 3-3-21. There's only 4.5 minutes to go, and it's all thanks to the Chisholm Sports Academy.
Well, Gallagher on one end and Peloso on the other. Well, it is the same end, I should say, but they're both prominent players today for their forward lines. 3 goals in the quarter. And now 4 minutes to play. A 9-point lead, so they've certainly capitalised on this wind. And the rain hasn't affected them at all as the ball is being retrieved.
Half-time in the big Hawthorn-Collingwood game. And 23-point lead is the Magpies.
I did tip the Pies.
I went with them too, but it's so hard to tip Hawthorn at the moment. They're really good one week and they can be really poor the next, but I reckon the Pies are a lot better than what the ladder suggests right now too. I think they're a better side than that. What are they sitting? About 10th?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're a better side than 10th.
Yeah, so the play here, it will take a moment. Playing a game of go fetch. The footy has been lost.
Well, that's only fair because it happened the other quarter, didn't it? As they retreat, bring in another ball. By the looks of it. Yep.
Now to 3 minutes. So a bit of time lost. But there will be some remaining.
I reckon if I was...
And now they have the original footy.
If I was either club, I'd be paying someone a pie and a can of drink to stand behind those goals and retrieve that ball in. So we heard a very similar story at quarter time that it does happen and you can lose a game from it.
I'd say that in normal weather. Give something else in the rain.
Yes. Yeah. As
some chips, some lollies.
There was someone down there, but he's relinquished straight away. He didn't like it.
Anyway, we digress, but we're back with the play. 2.5 minutes, and it is the Rovers by 9. No one would have expected this at quarter time. Harvey just hurls it forward. Again, it'll bounce. A snap around the body. And it bounced obligingly for Shield, who goes towards goal. The wind is carrying it.
Oh,
not enough.
I thought Peloso might have got another mark there and kicked his 4th for the quarter. So they bring the ball back into play. Late in this second quarter now, the Officer side, they go up towards the wing, carries out over the back, hurried kick forward now towards half forward. Gee, not getting a good bounce there were either player and ends up in the hands of Stillman. In fact, it was Honey. He feeds it back. Now they'll go up the line again. Gallagher taps that nicely to a teammate running past. Ends up back in the hands of Honey. He feeds it out. Might have been playing for a free kick, the Roo there, and not paid. And in the end, it'll go
the other way.
The other way to the Rovers, and it's going to go to Nicholas Harvey. Goes high up towards half forward and goes in quickly too, which makes the defenders defend early. Claxton gets it out towards half back. Liked his game in defence. Now out through the big fella there in Little. He's wrapped up. Comes back onto it. Then gets a hurried right foot up towards half forward. But it's all the Rovers here, and it's going to come back in really quickly. They play on quick, do the Rovers, and go inside quick. And again, AJ Claxton wins that ball. Just a burst of speed and puts it on the boot straight towards the boundary line. He's carried the boundary line, and it's out of bounds, and the Rovers will take the free kick.
30 seconds for the Rovers. And they know they've got a sense of urgency. Play on. Harvey again, his third possession in a couple of minutes, and he snaps it up. Did the forward for the Rovers. It's just unstuck for a moment. And now the mark. And he's missed the goal. That was Shield again.
I reckon he pushed him in the back myself, but not paid.
Well, it should be half-time. The siren about to sound. It is an 11-point lead for the Rovers. Who would have thought in that quarter they kicked 4 goals and 7 behinds, and the Kangaroos did not register a single score. As we spoke on in their previous matchup, it was the Rovers by 5 points. And at the moment, they lead it by 11. Now it's the Kangaroos' turn to respond.
Going to be interesting, the second half. It's going to be a big second half, and see who uses that wind most effectively. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have all the action for the AFL Southeast Top Age Under 17 Premier B game, all thanks to the Chisholm Sports Academy. Welcome back to the Officer Recreation Reserve, where the halftime break has been done and dusted very quick. The players are back out. They want to get this over and done with and get home, get a hot shower and get warm on the couch and play the PlayStation, no doubt, or the PS5 or whatever they're calling it these days. The umpires are inside. Might even be having a hot cocoa or something and staying out of the weather. And they're blowing the hooter for the umpires to come out, and out they come. And at half-time, it is the Frankston Rovers 4-8-32 after trailing by 20 points at quarter time. They now have an 11-point buffer. Officer 3-3-21, all thanks to the Chisholm Sports Academy. It looks like we've got one umpire out. And there's the other one. He's heading back out in the goal umpires. That's the first time I've ever seen players, Dylan, out so well before the umpires, and
they weren't even in sight.
They weren't. And it's good. We're going to get underway. And this is going to be a good second half because it'll all be counting now on if Officer can use the breeze in this third quarter.
Should be set for a grand finish as we will resume hostilities in the middle of Officer Recreation Reserve. And here is Worsbicky in his 100th game, able to paddle it down. Not to a teammate, though, because McCurry put it to centre half forward. Just bobbles around in there. Hand pass back. It was a blindsided hand pass by the Officer Kangaroos, and they all just crash in there. And a free kick going the way of the Rovers. So against the flow of the play, at least in the first half. So he surveys, delivers out wide. A prominent fist in the air. A time by the Kangaroo defence. Mackenzie, he left with it. Left without it as well. And now retrieving it was Claxton. Belts it forward. But it'll come back because the Rovers were standing tall in defence.
Cooper AFLSE has the ball at the half-forward flank. Oh, bad kick here. And it'll give him a little bit of a chop out with the weather. And he's the man, Peloso, who's kicked 3 second-quarter goals, but couldn't get the handball away. And there's the other one, Gallagher, who kicked 2 in the first. Wins the ball a long way from home, though, and gets it up towards half-forward. He was looking for his teammate there in Shipway, but it's knocked out over the boundary. And at a very dark Officer Recreation Reserve with a light sign, we'll have a boundary throw-in around about 50 around from the Officer goal. In fact, because they only got the one boundary, they'll bring that in and ball that up around the arc. So the umpire now tosses it up in the air, and Worsbicky wins that tap, goes forward. Just flicking it out there was Little. Hurried kick inside, 50 now for the Roos, and just beats Shipway out over the boundary line. And again, the umpire will restart it with a ball up, about 15 metres in from where it goes out over the boundary line, as such is the rule. And the rain pelts down, and Worsbicky takes that one out of the ruck and has his kick smothered, then gets another go at it, but ends up hitting the wrong side of the ball, and it ends up a check side going the wrong way. Kicked off the ground, just dropped there by AFLSE in these greasy conditions, and the Rovers now are going to take it out through the half-back area with a high ball, but it's going to be taken by Kovacs for the Officer side, who'll send it back in.
A nice mark by Kovacs. A towering effort to ride half forward. 2 teammates just fought over the ball. And as a result, their opponent will come away with it. Along the wing now. Across to a teammate. He just kicks it. Spills out. Off the ground they go. Just edging it forward closer and closer towards their goal. And the umpire will pay a free kick. Going the way of the Kangaroos. So they've been able to drown this crowd out, have the Rovers, and they're threatening here again. Barging through was Worsbicky, and he created a path for his teammates. Decided to lay it out for another teammate. Here is Gallagher, again off the deck. And he went with the second effort. They all just collide and slam into each other, and they do again. What a tackle laid. The ball's still alive, but there's a hurt Kangaroo in there. And the Rovers will pounce on the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that might be Canute. We'll have a keep our glasses on that, actually, because he was ridden into the ground. I'm just a little worried it might have been a shoulder, as we'll get a restart in between wing and half back. It is Canute. And they're pretty lucky there, the Rovers. He didn't get a free kick, because we've seen the way he kicks a ball, and I'm back and he would have kicked it from there. And I hope he's okay. He's taking his time to get up, as again Wisbicki wins that forward, and wrapped up in the tackle was Little.
Oh,
the
it's
umpire,
a leg. Sorry.
So he's paid a free kick, and it'll go to the Rovers. Goes across the ground to Hakariah Graham.
Canute's just limping off.
So it's a leg then. So hopefully it's not serious. And again, geez, I've liked his game. AJ Claxton wouldn't look out of place in the NBL with that name. Goes forward towards centre half forward. Kick smothered, trying to come back out is the Rovers. And as the rain tumbles down at half forward, diving in, he looks like he likes these greasy conditions, does Jackson Little. And another one's hurt for the Roos, and that looks like, is it Tyler Assel?
Might need the emergencies out here at this rate.
There's a lot of players going down, but we'll have a restart and it'll be up around half forward.
Well, we hope he's all right. Half forward. Where's Biggie taking it out of the ruck? And again, tackled was his teammate. And they're all still in there, in the thick of things. In the wet on a Sunday afternoon. Where would you rather be? This ball still disentangled. It'll fall out the back hatch, and then it's right back into the pack, and a ball up at centre half forward.
Yeah, the one thing I'd be doing is probably blowing that whistle really quick on these stoppages, because we're going to start getting injuries.
Yep.
And you want to clear them out, or pull a free kick. Pull a free kick, even if you make it up. Up it goes. Wisbicki wins it forward, and it's McKeary there for the Rovers. They get it out towards the wing. The big man again in Dibben comes off his hands, and Alderson was taken without it, but the umpires paid it the other way and said no. It was incorrect disposal. So Mitch McKenzie goes short, looking for a teammate out towards the pocket, but it's going to come back from the Rovers, and it was quickly done by Locke up the line and out of bounce on the full. So it'll be AJ Claxton with a resultant free kick for the Roos.
Claxton's kick maybe a little indiscriminate for the teammates. The Rovers will belt it. Again, there's just one man forward. Basically every player above where the centre circle is, and now they'll slowly progress towards the Rovers forward line. The ball won't. It's halted. And another throw-in coming up.
It's hard work for both sides, Dylan, in these conditions, isn't it?
It is.
Makes it really, really difficult. And right now, an 11-point lead is a big lead.
Yep. Some ferocity. We've seen the injury of Canute. So they're still hard at the footy as the birds chirp. They're eager to see a goal. Who can kick one? And now the Rovers will have a chance to extend that lead.
I've got a feeling the Crow might have been picking at that special effects mic. You might have thought it was a bit of food.
Scanning ahead and then dispatching it up that way at half forward. Standing in the tackle. It's a defender for Officer. The ball up again. Left half forward. Officer needed goal desperately before three-quarter time, especially with the way the wind's blowing. But they've done well to forestall the danger, have the Rovers. And here they are again, preventing them from escaping in any way. Unglued for a moment and then whipped around on the right, did the Rover. And a mark has been paid. Will go the way of Kovacs. Again, inside the forward 50, Gallagher did enough to get a hand to it. And it's a 1v1 up forward. It might bounce and bounce. It's kicked along the ground, and it's a goal. So there is the goal that they needed. Jacoby on the front end for the Kangaroos, a 5-point margin. So we're set up, as I said before, for a grand finish in the wets.
Very good play there. Jackson Honey that just kept at it and got the boot forward and flicked it forward. And the boy in Jacoby was very, very smart, and he pounced on it And just that little deft touch of check side and got it through. So they're back within a goal. 5-point leaders are the Rovers, all thanks to our great friends out at the Chisholm Sports Academy. And got 11 minutes to go in this third quarter. Up they go. Wisbicki has won most of the taps today, and he wins it out towards Little, but it's going to be the Rovers with the greasy ball drop, goes out towards the wing and tapping it forward for the Roos is Godney. Stays at it, but coming in from the other side for the Rovers. They go to kick up towards half forward. AFLSE overruns it. Flicked forward now by Locke. Flicked out the back. Now, I don't know if a handball is the way to go in this sort of weather. Might have got that on the boot, might have been the better option as Kovacs wins it forward. All wrapped up in a tackle, and it's just flicked out the back and comes out to Wisbicki. Goes towards the boundary line and in the end taken out over, and we'll have a boundary throw in centre wing position. 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. 5-point leaders are the Rovers as the umpire throws it in the air. Won that time by McDonald. Hurried kick forward. Coming out and taking the mark, though, is Mitch McKenzie for the Roos.
Yep, the last leg of defence. Well, the hand pass intercepted by AFLSE, and then his teammate smothered it, but now the Roos defence will get a bit of protection. Trying to leave was Knapp. Unsuccessfully, but his teammate did. Hicken along the wing. Not a lot of meterage in that, but his opponent in Hatfield just missed it. Sharon displaced. Finally picked up by Godden to vacant space. Tracked down by the defence. He just held up. He sat on the footy, quite literally. And we should have a ball up or a free kick. Nope, it'll be a ball up at half forward. Over 9 minutes remaining in this third. A 5-point lead for the Rovers. It's Officer's turn now. It's located in their half forward line, and the ball simply has not moved. It's still unbinded. And now off the grass. Kovacs has been great in defence all day. Falls in the lap of the forward line. And again into the pack. So we should have a ball up. And as soon as I say that, it leaves the pack every time. So through the forward line again, they enter. Flying up for it was Gallagher. Enough to make an impact. Can he provide a crumb opportunity? He can't, and it's just flushed away by the defence. And now on the outer wing is Locke, who was quickly corralled by a couple of defenders. Marini just threading it through. Shield. They're all involved here. They slide to ground right on the barrier, and we'll finally have a whistle.
And Knapp and Marden going hard at it there and low. And I've liked the hardness of young Knapp for the Officer side. Cooper Nat, he looks a likely type as the ball comes out the back. Flicked forward. That time it was Marini who's also been good, but comes up towards Locke on the wing. He tries to keep it in. Comes back. Again, just an enormous amount of players over this that they just can't pick it up. It's that slippery out there right now, and picked up this time by Hicken. Turns back into trouble. It comes back to Hicken. Gets onto the left boot. Don't know if that's even travelled the required distance. Doesn't matter. No one marks it. Bounces out the back. Again, flicked forward. Now here's a chance for the Rovers to go forward. Overrunning it. Now, the Roos can get him out the back. It's Hicken again. It slips through his hands. He's in trouble, but he gets the left foot to it into the middle of the ground. Gallagher's there. He overruns it. Back in on it. Underneath. Flicked out for the Rovers. Comes out towards Hakariah Graham. He's having as much trouble as anyone else as the umpire has pulled a free kick. It'll go to the Roos, and it'll go in the agency of Brodie Snooks.
So Snooks, high up and under. Dropped mark. And now Marini saw a path. It was shut down in an instance. And the defence again, this time through AFLSE. Sliding and diving at the footy. They all are. And they certainly can with the mud on the ground at the moment. And they all pile on top of each other, but it's kicked out of there by Little. Had an open man to his right, did Gallagher. Godden was there as well. But we should have a dispute. Just over, or rather under 6 minutes. A 5-point lead for the Rovers. Could we be seeing the exact same thing as a couple of weeks ago where they won by 5 points against this exact same Officer side? Slowly progressing past the barricade. An Officer, well, they'll look to go into the forward line again. The defence, they work its way out of there magnificently. And it was slipping out of their hands, out of their grasp. And again over the line for a throw-in with just under 5.5 to play at half forward for the Kangaroos.
Tipping these boys will be nice and warm when they get changed into the car and get mum and dad taking them through the drive-through at McDonald's on the way home and get a bit of hot tucker into them, I would have thought. It's been a real wet, cold, slippery day, and these boys have gone at it, and they're still going at it. They've done well. Hurry, kick forward towards a wing. Peloso gets a hand on it. Kick 3 in that second quarter. Knapp slides in as he's done all day, and Marini's there for the Roos. Gets a hurry kick. Now they're away through Hicken in the middle. Goes onto the left foot. Inside 50 with a spearing kick in and out. Torpedo. At the back again, it's Jacoby, who has already got one this quarter, but it's just a game of soccer from the Rovers. Gallagher's there, and he looks like he'll keep that in. He does really well. Then has a right foot shot at goal. Missed to the right. Wow, he's an exciting type, isn't he?
Wouldn't that have been something?
I think a lot of the players give up on it, thought he'll take this out of bounds, and he kept it in and had a shot at goal. And, geez, kicked 2, but I reckon he might have kicked 3 or 4 behinds as well.
Yet to see Peloso down here in the third quarter. To the throng now. Dropped mark by Where's Bicky. And now Frankston, well, they can congregate around this ball. Mark taken. And now they need them all to stream forward. Shield. Long drop punts. Some misjudgment by a few players. And the defence should hold up a nice shepherd laid by Kovacs. Out to the wing. And now Dibben. He was amidst plenty of them. All within a 5-metre radius. It was about 10, maybe 12 players. And Alderson will have the free kick. At half-back, close to the wing. And camped underneath, but dropped the mark. Did Cooper Knapp. Lucky his teammate was there to mop up his mess. And it should be coming back this way. Another dropped mark by Richmond. And he couldn't lick it up by hand. His teammate did. And he was quickly dispossessed. And in a flash, Alderson spins on the right. Hooks the kick. Claxton, been great today. Not that time. Again, had it stripped. Defence, they're all around this footy. An enervating contest. Not a lot of energy left. But there's still over 2.5 minutes to play. Here is Gallagher. He's got every ounce of energy remaining. Compensates for the rest. And again, he just overran the footy. Godden was there into the forward line. Jacoby. It still sits in the pockets. And we'll have a throw in.
So, just over 2 minutes to go. 4-point leaders are the Rovers on the Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard. And it's deep in the Officers' forward line as Wesbicky wins that tap. Fresh air shot off the ground from the Rovers in boys. Ball gets knocked towards the boundary and taken out over. We'll have another boundary throw in. Or the umpire, as I said earlier, will bring it in and ball it up just inside the boundary. Up he goes. Great tap from Wesbicky behind. Gets to... He's been good today. Has Honey. Again, he goes in and wins it. Balks around 2. Does really well. Gets the right foot to it. But he's missed to the right.
Goals are a premium now. And if you kick that, they would have had the lead. And that's certainly what you want in these conditions. It doesn't matter if it's 1 point.
So 1.5 minutes, just under, to go. And the Rovers will bring the ball back into play. They'll go to that outer side as both teams have all day, and that's no good. That's going to come back. And the free kick will go to Mitch McKenzie for the Roos.
1 minute in the third. Quite some time will be taken up as they will go and fetch the footy.
In fact, Mitch McKenzie took off. He didn't want it.
Oh, that kick deflected off as the man of the on the mark. And again, they all just swarm this footy. Everyone wants a piece of this. Little do they know it'd probably be easier if they did spread. They don't. And now they'll have a chance. Where's Bicky? Into the pockets. Just out of the reach of AFLSE. And with 23 seconds left, the Rovers hold a 2-point lead. Should be the end of the quarter. As all the players are heading towards one way. It's one-way traffic. Only a couple of seconds left. Play on the call. Can he get a holding the ball decision? Gallagher, no, but he did try. And they have been trying this quarter, both sides. And it's the Rovers who lead it by 2 behinds. 4 goals, 8-32. So the Kangaroos, 4 goals, 6 and 30 points. Might not be the ideal day for footy, but what it is a close contest on our hands. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with you for the last.
Welcome back to the Officer Recreation Reserve at three-quarter time, where the Frankston Rovers 4-8-32 have a 2-point lead over Officer 4-6-30. Goal kickers, Peloso has 3 for the Rovers and Swavola has 1. And for the Officer side, it's 2 to Zach Gallagher and Canute has one, and 1 to Jacoby, and Canute will see if he comes back onto the ground. It looks like he is back on. No, it's not him. We'll keep an eye on that. He did go off in that quarter injured, so we'll see how he goes. So in this last quarter, the Frankston Rovers will kick down to that Princess Highway end where the wind is going, and there's a 2-point lead on the Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard to the Rovers. So quarter time, they were 20 points down. Half time, they led by 11. And right now, they're 2 points up going into the last.
20 minutes of football left. A 2-point deficit for the Kangaroos. And immediately out of the middle they go. Claxton, Gallagher, loitering. Dangerous as ever. And he'll go again. Can't pick it up. He's still eager to get this footy. And here's ball. Just trickles around. Finally ejected out of there by the defence. Should come back through Marini, but it doesn't. He dropped it, and now Jacoby. That kick on the right boot. Didn't get a lot of meterage, so it's centre half back for the Rovers. Have to do well. Rinsing it out of there was McDonald, the ruckman all day. Bounced off the chest of the Kangaroos' defence. That time it was Knapp. Might have been asleep on the job. Kovacs out to the wing now. Gallagher again, but his teammate, he cleaned it up very nicely. Gallagher again. Should have a ball up on the wing. A band of players surrounding this footy, still loose. And the whistle wasn't blown, which is what Brad was saying all day. If there is a dispute, there should be a whistle. Now, it's a half forward again, closer to the pocket. Stillman. Haven't seen too much of him all day, but he did well that time. And Gallagher again, right through the fingertips of Where's Bicky. But now there's a window, and they can score. A goal, really. It's all they need. It was only 1 goal last quarter. As this defence is just holding up, at least temporarily. And Comey again, through his legs, out the back door. Sliding through was Kovacs again. And finally, the whistle.
What I do like what the officer coach has done, I think Claxton's been really good in defence. They move him into the midfield. They're 2 points down against the win. They have to win it. He gets the first clearance, and now the ball is locked away in their front 50. So some good coaching from the officer team. Again, the rain pelts down and plays around this, and it gets flicked out over the boundary line. So we'll toss it in the air, and it's very early in this last quarter. And from this forward fray now, they really need to score if they want to stay in this game. Officer, it gets just belted forward by AFLSE for the Rovers. They're trying to barge their way through it, but very hard to get through 3 or 4 bodies like that, and a little bit of aggression showing, and Knapp throws the ball back straight in the tummy there of Alderson, and Alderson will get the free kick with a 50.
Is he within range here, Alderson?
Yes. Yeah, it'll bring him in range for sure. So Knapp won't be happy, either will his coach, because whilst the ball had spent the early part in their front 50, all of a sudden the Rovers score a behind. So it's up the other end, and that's the key, is getting it back up this way against this breeze. So they'll bring the ball back into play, and they'll come to the near side, which hasn't been used a lot today. They'll go out looking for Bicky. He was being held by the jumper by the Rovers player in Alderson, and a good decision by the umpire. So the 100-gamer will take the free kick in his defensive 50. Goes up the line, the wing. Knapp comes from behind, gets his fist to it, but rove by the boy in Jardine. Hurry kick forward. Comes back to Bicky, gets a hurry kick up towards the forward line. Out comes Barron, and it'll end up going out over the boundary line. And again, the umpire will bring it in about 10 or 15 metres and throw it up.
Yep, this rain is seriously beginning to fall. Conditions not A1 today. But there's still a game in the balance. 3 points. 5th versus 6th on the ladder. Who can get there? Ball again. It just leaks out off the ground and fortuitously right to his teammates. Leading up was Christensen. They have plenty of players out the back. Who else would it be? Gallagher! Beat him up! What a game he has played, and they regain the lead with just over 15 minutes. It's 5-6 to 4-9 on the scoreboard.
All thanks to the Chisholm Sports Academy, and I've got to say, Jackson Honey, I've sung his praises today, and it was because of him around that stoppage. He stuck at it and got the boot forward, but boy, Red Onion's very own Zach Gallagher, we're going to claim him. He has been brilliant, hasn't he? That's his third for the day, and wow, he just sets them alight and gives them some real excitement. I'm noticing that Malik Jardine has gone to him now, and they need to keep him quiet. They hold a 3-point lead, and they needed that one against it. The first and only kicked all day up that end. Claxton again wins the stoppage. Can't get it clear. Smothered kick on McKeary for the Rovers trying to go forward, and they dive across it again. They're going to let it go, and they just, again, waiting for that ball to spill out as little is all wrapped up. And I'm telling you now, that's not going anywhere. So the umpire decides he'll throw it up in the middle of the ground. A lot of players around it, and flicked forward. Coming through from the back was Boyce. Gets it forward. Out they come. The big fella again feeds it out, and that was Peloso out to Dibben. Ends up out on the outside towards the pocket now and flicked out over the back for the Roos, and they'll just edge it up and push the ball forward, but it's going to come back again. But, geez, they're defending well, the Roos. They'll go up towards the wing. There's Gallagher. Gee, he got some pace. He's got all the tricks. He overruns that one, though, and coming back on it was Jardine. Again, hurry kick forward from Gallagher. Looks for Wisbicki. Can he keep it in? He does. Well done. Then gets the hurried kick on it. Has a teammate there. They go forward. Coming from behind was Christensen. Knocks the ball out of the hands of his opponent there in Marden. And they get a hurried kick out, and it's Gallagher again.
Well, Gallagher, the mark wasn't paid. Or it was in the end. Push in the back. So here he is. The kick. Look at the wind. Just swerve that to the right. Alderson dropped the mark. Did well enough to pick it again. Under his control. And that just bounced off the chest of Richmond. It's just located in their forward line. A goal off the ground would be enough. And on cue, it heads that way, but it's a minor score. Swavola.
The opportunist, I reckon, watching this Noah Savola, he's kicked one today. He's kicked a couple of behinds, but he just pounces on that loose one, doesn't he?
So we're cushioning ball out to the wing. A 3-on-1, plenty of Kangaroos jumpers here, but in the end, it was Shield standing tall. But going forward are the Kangaroos. On the wing.
Big tackle.
He is poleaxed. Was the Rover. Umpire lets it roll. And now 1-on-1, they'll have to contend at ground level because there's no way that this will bounce up to them with all the mud on the ground. And another free kick. Kangaroos' way. And the crowd is into this now. To half forward. Gallagher from the back, but we sensed it. Couldn't reel it in. He's still here. He enters the scene again. Leaves with the ball. Had a teammate on standby. The defence, well, they can clear the zone and avert the danger, but only for a moment because one more time, Gallagher, hands on the football. And his teammate will prop up for a possession, snap it around the body, and a big kick out of there. It wasn't conventional, but certainly helped them. Time it was Hatfield, and we'll have another whistle at half forward. Almost halfway into the last quarter, a 2-point deficit for the Rovers.
Got to say, for the older viewers watching this, number 33 for officer in the long sleeves, Bryce Hobson. He's the dead ringer for Brett Allison, that took mark of the century at one year, and he wore the 33 for the Roos and always wore the long sleeve. And I just wonder if there's a bit in that he's done that on purpose. His dad might be a mad North Melbourne supporter. So Bryce Hobson in the long sleeves, across half forward.
Against his own will, do you think? Or
possibly. We were all forced to barrack for what our dad wanted back in the day. I reckon it was Carlton for me. And
I might be the anomaly here.
Oh, I quickly become a saint. I said, no, not for me, the Blues. And again, they'll go forward with a high ball. Holding the front spot. Was he taken high? The umpire says yes, is Ryan Barron. So he'll take the free kick. He's too far out to score, but they'll get it in deep here. Now, the question is, if they get one here, does that make it really difficult? All the play, for whatever reason, has been against the win in this last quarter, and he finds that man again, Jackson Honey, and how sweet this will be. Goes short, carries over the back, and Harvey wins it for, well, does he? Comes back again. Fumbling there was Phyllis. Umpire has pulled a free kick out of this. It's going to go to the Roos, and it'll be Honey.
Now take the kick this time. Oh, he's pulled up a little bit sore, but
it quickly plays on again and goes short. Goes to Woosbicki, who leads out at it. They've just got to take their time and have some composure, the officer side, when they're up around goal. Claxton lays the tackle. Again, Hawks in on it. Little's there. Comes out. You just got to hold it up. Get a bounce down. Get a restart. Bodies going in everywhere. Oh. They're away. That's Knapp. Gets onto the right foot. Goes forward. Misses to the right.
Better result.
And a good result. And we'll have a boundary throw in right on the goal post, a point post, deep in the forward line for the Roos.
And he'll learn that with experience, Jackson Honey. You've got to take your kick there. Or if he's injured, potentially go off and let someone else take the kick, because that is huge. And that would have been huge if they just kicked a sealer there. And there's still time. A glimmer of hope for a goal there, but he didn't get enough of it. And now slung around in the tackle, Little.
Well done, Alderson.
And it's a throw. Great tackle, Alderson. As the clock ticked 12. The last leg of defence. Alderson out to the wing. Oh, what a smooth pickup. Dibben to half forward again. And just nudging off his opponent was Peloso. The Kangaroo defence should arrive there first, but they don't. It stays in play. They chain up the handballs. It was put to an end.
Yeah, he was
and
taken
free
high.
Kick now.
Silvola taken high there for sure.
So 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play, a 2-point deficit. That won't help the marker. It was dropped in the end. Kangaroos need to engineer some sort of structured defence, because at the moment it's just this. It worked that time. Adventitiously. Woosbicki to a teammate. Up the wing now for Honey. He seems to be back up on his feet. And he's been given a free kick.
Yeah.
And it's 50 as well.
Yeah, Lachlan Watson was ridden into the ground, and I reckon someone said something to the umpire.
He dropped the
Oh,
the
did
ball.
he drop the ball?
Yep. Or rather, he just threw it and missed. So too far out to score. Would require a massive strike. And he attempted to use Godden as a reference, but to no avail. We'll have a ball up at half forward. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Sunday afternoon with Brad Sinclair calling. Where would you rather be?
Nowhere, Dylan. That's for sure. This is going to be an incredible finish, 2-point game at the moment, and they probably just need to take their time. Does Officer, as again the ball's kicked out, goes over the head of Claxton and goes out over the boundary line, and we'll have a restart, centre wing position out of side. So I'm just quite shocked at the amount of ball that's spent in this front 50, because it hasn't all day in this last quarter. So you've got to say the Roos have been really strong as the ball comes out to, here we go again, Hakariah Graham. He overruns it, comes back, Woosbicki, hurried kick forward, only goes about 2 metres, and they dive in on it, and the umpire is going to pay holding the ball here. It'll go to the Rovers. Again, it's McKeary, been good. Long kick, goes in towards the goal square. The race is on. Roos get back quickly.
Oh, did he disguise it?
Little went straight to the boundary line. not paid, and they'll ball it up. It'd take a very brave umpire to pay that. With only, what do we got?
5.5.
5.5 minutes to go. They're 2 points down. Pay that, kick the goal, and wow. It's all on the Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard. Not long to go. Tap forward. Roved again by Claxton. He's paid holding the ball. And they're going to get a shot on goal. 2 points down. 5 minutes to go in this game. Kicking with the wind. And all the pressure right now is on Nathan Boys. He'll kick from 20. Slide angle. Not too much to worry about. Distance won't be a worry, you would think, unless it slides off the boot. But the wind's howling down that way. In he comes. That's a beautiful looking kick. Not a problem. Boys gets his first for the day, and what a time to get it. They hit the front by 4 points on your Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard. 5 minutes to go in this last quarter.
Wow. How about the confidence?
Yes.
Didn't hesitate at all. Just struck it, and it was true. A 4-point lead for the visitors. 5-10 to 5-6 on the Chisholm Sports Academy scoreboard.
No waiting for 30 seconds in the crowd to watch, and people take photos like the big time. Straight back and head over it, and goal.
Well, just over 4 minutes. No time on. So we hope the ball doesn't go over the fence. And now the Rovers, they'll just chisel it inside effectively again. They all crash. The Kangaroos defence holding up well. Again in there, head first. And another holding the ball decision going the way of Frankston. So they won't settle it down. They'll look for an option. Probing ball forward into the forward pocket this time. Out the back. And they'll see it over the line. Now to 3.5 minutes. Opposite side of the ground for the Kangaroos. All they need is a goal. Only being the 2 in this quarter, 1 for each side. Bottling it up. Forward line for the Rovers. Comes out. And again, it's still alive in there. Who's in the mix? Who can kick a goal and seal this one up? Still in there. Finally a shot at goal. It's high. It's swinging. Not enough.
Boys
and here
again.
we go. The ball over the fence. This is what I spoke about.
Yes. I know it's wet, but I would still have someone down there. 5-point game. Under 3 minutes to go. And it's a long way back from down there for the officer side to get it up here. And they have to kick a goal to hit the front. So the game's there for the Rovers to win. They just got to hold on. They quickly come back forward again. Bouncing ball. Gets flicked out over the back. Peloso's there. He can't win it. It's knocked out. Again, it's Boys in there for the Rovers. Hurried kick forward that's smothered for the Kangaroos. Locks tackled. Ball spills free. Little wins it. Spills out of his hands. Hurried kick. Comes out to Wesbicky. He fumbles. Honey's there for the Roos. Handballs it off. Well done. Good hands. They're away, the Roos. They'll go inside 50. Long kick. Backing back.
Oh, what a mark.
Great timely mark. Corey Stillman for the Rovers.
Well, he froze his opponent, didn't he? Great mark in defence. Under 2 minutes now. To the wing. The pack forms. A punch out the back. And this is where it starts to rise. The tension. The pressure for the Roos. Hacked back the other way. A dropped mark. Spitting through traffic. The 100th gamer. Where's Bicky? Another fist in the air. Where's Bicky? Off the deck. Christensen after it, but he left it for his opponent, or his teammate rather. And where's Bicky? Good use of the body. Braced for contact. Kick was smothered. He goes again. And the defence. They avert it, but it'll only be on its way back. And it is to the exact same position. Through the fingertips of the Roos forward line. And they would love a ball up here, but the Rovers, they've got it away again. The Roos just seem to be out of energy. 1 minute on the clock towards the boundary line, and he does well to straddle the line. He was even audacious enough to take a bounce off to a teammate. They're all spent. Can they construct a coherent attack late? Across the back line, and now it's dangerous. Light sparking everywhere because The Rovers, they're up forward. All they need is a goal, but there's only 30 seconds left. It might be enough. Need to go end to end here, the Kangaroos. The umpire calls the whistle, and it is a free kick to the Roos. Here is Gallagher to the wing again, and the ball just eludes him. Down to 19. Time of the essence. It should be enough for the Rovers. We'll have a ball up at half forward.
Can't win it from here. 20 seconds or under now, under 10 seconds we are now. A long way from home. So the Rovers will run out winners. They'll win by 5 points in what has been a terrific game of AFL Southeast football under extreme conditions. Both sides should be commended. At quarter time, the Officer side held a 20-point lead, and they've come back, the Rovers, and they've taken the chocolates by 5 points.
3 weeks ago, the Rovers beat the Kangaroos by 5. And today in round 7, they do it again. 5-11-41 to 5-6-36. What a performance it was.
Certainly was. And, gee, we were treated, on a day like this on a Sunday, we can all be doing something else and staying warm. If you're going to come out in these conditions, you want to see a good game of footy, and boy, that gives us everything today. We'll take a quick break. When we come back from that break, we will have our best player on the ground to have a chat to. Well, we've got our player of the day in what was a fantastic game in really inclement weather. That's all I can say. And it was Riley Alderson who played through the midfield for the Frankston Rovers. Great win, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Have to be happy with that. I mean, from where we sat, the conditions looked really tough. Very windy, wet. It was hard.
Oh yeah, it was freezing out there. Everyone was shivering, but did pretty well.
They jumped you by 20 points. They were kicking down that bottom end, so we always thought that was going to be the end. The last quarter proved different, though, didn't it? They had all the play.
Yeah, well, the wind was going down there the whole game. So at the start of the quarter, they obviously got a couple goals. And then when we hit the second, we kicked our couple. And then in the last, we obviously had our lead. So I thought we did pretty well with that.
Had a couple of big boys up forward. What I really liked was Peloso. He got 3 goals. And Dibben, they're big boys up forward. Good targets.
Yeah, well, Peloso's, that was his first game up forward. So I thought he did pretty well for that. And Dibbo's normally our ruckman, but we chucked him in the forward. He's been a bit sick. So, but yeah, they both did really well up there.
You got a good midfield there yourself, obviously. I was really impressed with, how do we say this, Hakariah Graham.
Zarquain. Oh, no, that's Eli. So, yeah.
Can you say it?
No.
It's a tough name to
I
say.
think it's Graham.
Is it? And Suavolo proved really dangerous when the ball hit the ground in your front half.
Yeah, he did. He did pretty well, yeah.
So you'd be happy with that win? You played them earlier in the year, obviously, and same margin down at your ground and same margin here again today.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was good versing them again. Good winning.
Did you pull up all right?
Oh, cold still. Very sore.
We'll let you go. Thanks very much for joining us. You're our player of the day. Well done.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week where it's a little bit drier. I'm out of the rain. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.